We have such interesting macro theses in our society that are crippling people. And the reason there's so much anxiety in the system now is we're all living our lives in public forums and now taking on more judgment, not less. I don't hear any of you. Let me say it one more time. How many people here with my content and they love it? Let me hear you. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Let me say it one more time. For all the people here who think I can walk on water, I'm the best, I'm such a great dude, I can't fucking hear you. Let me explain to you why I can't hear you. Because I have no interest on getting high on my own supply. The reason I can't hear you is the same reason that I can't hear the person that leaves a comment that says I'm a snake oil salesman, or my cursing is inappropriate, or I'm gonna burn out, or whatever else. I can't hear that face either. And when, over the next 50 years of my life, I figure out how to produce more communications to help you not hear it either, that is when I will start having more significant impact. Because when you don't hear anything, I mean from your dad, I mean from your spouse, when you stop hearing things, gets remarkable.
Need motivation?
Watch a top 10 with Believe Nation.
Hey, it's Evan Carmichael, and I make these videos because you are probably the most ambitious person in your circle.
But you know you're capable of more. And you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best.
So today, let's learn from one of the best, Gary Vee, and my take on his top 10 rules of success. Enjoy. Rule number 2, take accountability.
I think the lack of accountability is leading to so much unhappiness. Like, life is so much better when you're like, this was my fault.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're in control.
Yeah.
And so, like, you know, this was like a wrap up to control. You're in control.
Yeah.
You decide what you consume. You decide what you believe. You decide who you surround yourself with. You decide what you put out. Take on accountability.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to blame right now. The algorithm, they're acting as the algorithms are like hypnosis. And I understand endorphin hits and all that, but like, you can delete the app. You can. Like, where's accountability in this?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, we have alcohol, we have tobacco, we have drugs, we have weapons, and we have all sorts of issues, but most people play within moderation. That's on you.
Yeah. And it's a tough truth, right? It's a tough truth. It's a tough truth.
Especially when you're unhappy.
Yeah.
That goes back to why it's important. It's like the chicken and egg. It's like working out. Like, I got into better shape the last 8 years. Nothing comes less natural to me.
Yeah, tell me.
Nothing comes less natural to me.
I can relate to you.
Right?
Yeah.
But like, I was like, I just would like to live longer.
Yes.
I would just like to live longer.
Yeah.
And go figure. It's not apple cider gummies. It's not steroids. It's not implants. I've thought about it. I'm like, can I get chest implants? I put in a lot of work. I feel like I've like, Seth's good. Like, I feel like I've done more than Seth, but like my body type, like, you know, and I'm like, I probably haven't, but no, it's like, eat well, go in the gym, do the right things. And so same for life, you know, whether it's meditation, whether it's exercise, whether it's therapy, whether it's good conversations, whether it's surrounding, you know, back to us not having the serendipity, you know, we've had some meals, we've had some interactions. They're always like, they're nice.
We need more.
I would like that.
Yeah.
And we'll build on that. I think, you know, I'm spending more time thinking about spending more time with more while doubling down on core, you know? You know, because I did a really good job in the last 10 years of doubling down on core, but I think being as busy and I love what I do, you know, I really do want to build out a more of a friend network. I want to take more people from lightweight acquaintance to solid acquaintance. I want to take people from acquaintance to friend, from friend to best friend. And so I'm on a journey like everybody else, but I think that, I think, believe it or not, and this is going to sound so crazy for so many, the world actually has so much potential for everybody listening to be the best time to be alive. Medicine and technology, and there's so much, but we're caught right now. It's like a hamster wheel. We're in the momentum of focusing on, you know, the bad.
Yeah.
And there's always bad.
Yeah.
The Holocaust was bad. Genocide is always going on. Genghis Khan was not a fun time to be a human.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like we are very bad at history. I was a really bad student, but I did well in history. Like, but that starts with you. What are you going to do about it? Because right now everyone's like pointing and feels like it's on someone else.
Yeah.
It starts with ourselves.
I mean, when you said that and you brought up the Holocaust, I recently read Edith Eger's book, The Gift. She lived through the Holocaust. And she had that mindset in the Holocaust. So she said the only way she got through it is she realized that she wasn't a prisoner, that the only prisoners were the guards, because they were prisoners of their own conscience.
Unbelievable.
That was her mindset.
She's right.
And you know, she's like over 90 now or even older. And it's like, it's just phenomenal that her, Viktor Frankl, who wrote Man's Search for Meaning, these two phenomenal books, if anyone hasn't read them, like they had that in that scenario.
Well, that's the point I always make to everybody. Like, you know, the only thing that works for me is trying to contextualize moments in time.
Yeah.
And like, you know, our great-great-great-grandparents had it rough by comparison to the way we have it. And sure, they had some things that were better on simplicity, but we must choose optimism because what's the alternative? Yeah. Pessimism? Like, are you just going to decide? Because once you decide, where are you? Once you decide it's bad, it's actually bad. And so like, one of the things that makes me very passionate to communicate is practical optimism, or the fact that I believe negativity is much better at marketing than positivity.
Oh, for sure.
I feel a huge sense of responsibility.
Rule number 3, never get tired.
How in the world can a human being be tired of admiration? Like, it's too humbling. I live a life where people think it's cool to take a picture with me. That's ludicrous. That's incredible. I will never figure out how not to lean into my humility. But that humility comes from a mindset that starts with deep self-esteem and deep understanding that other people's judgments actually have zero impact on your life. And I get to be the byproduct of tremendous parenting to have that mindset. Not everybody had that. My father didn't. I know how my grandmother raised him, and I watch how his actions go based on that. So I stand here, Orlando, today with deep gratitude for the way I was built. When I hear the accolades, when those cheers come, it's so easy for me to default into you're cheering me as a byproduct of a whole lot of great circumstances, a whole lot of good parenting, which doesn't allow me to get high or ever have an ego of not the humility. I'm the byproduct. I am desperate to figure out how to put sentences together to get you to understand how much that's the game. The reason I'm not interested in talking about becoming a millionaire is because I know thousands of millionaires who are miserable as What I'm interested in is trying to figure out how to get you to understand why it's so fun for me to play in the dirt. What I'm interested in is, why does this work for me? Why did it work for me? Why does it work for other people that I see? Right. Because most people have no interest in putting in the deep hours of work required to actually be successful.
Rule number 4, don't judge yourself.
There's a really dirty secret in the strategy world of like Bain and McKinsey, where if you really get them drunk, they admit that the actions lead to the strategy, not the other way around. That's my answer to you. How? I make decisions. And then I try to look at my calendar the week ahead and see if any of the decisions I made 4 weeks earlier that made me think this was a good use of time, am I able to move something, cut something down? I'm extremely thoughtful about cutting times of meetings. So one of the things I think that really make me successful is understanding a 7-minute meeting is real and not just making it a 30-minute meeting. But the real reason is because I don't overthink it. I'm operating my business, I'm in it. How do I decide between going to dinner with Kevin Hart because I can and I want to build top of the funnel brand, or do I go take a mid-level client that I'm trying to build a relationship with? It's, you know, you ask every normal person, it seems like those aren't super close, but I can touch the pulse and be like, I'm going to LA 4 more times in the next 3 months. You know, the biggest mistakes I make are the ones of missed opportunities of the things by being crippled by opportunity. When you actually level that all up, my friend, it really is liberating. You will never even come close to making the right decision. I mean it. You just don't know what the alternative would be. People think that there's a right answer. You as an operator of your business, make the right call that feels right at that moment, and just move. And people spend all this time and money on trying to think that there's a proper answer. I play on the extremes. I spend as much time as possible on the things that are showing me the most offense, right? However you're doing your customer acquisition to get to a hundo on a product like that, like whether it's Facebook, whether it's brand, and then I spend the amount of time on my biggest vulnerability. You know, putting my finger in the holes to make sure the boat doesn't sink, and building a bigger boat and nothing in the middle. And knowing that I'm making that judgment at all times, and the second I get new data a week later, I might have to completely change what I thought was right the week before. It's also why I spend a ton of time with my employees. The reason I'm an HR-driven CEO is if you really understand this, both your biggest growth and your biggest vulnerabilities are actually your own team. So I think it's it starts with the ability not to overjudge yourself, because that is the liberator of the model I just broke down for you.
Also, to make sure you're actually taking action after watching this video, I've designed a special free worksheet just for this video. The worksheet will highlight all of the lessons learned in this video, as well as pull out our 3 favorite learnings and quotes that will inspire you to actually do something. The worksheet will also give you space to write down what your key takeaways are and your specific plan of action to make sure you're getting results. If you want the worksheet designed specifically for this video, absolutely for free, there's a link in the description below. Go click on it and start building the momentum in your life and your business. I'll see you there.
Rule number 5, be in control of your life.
I am incredibly private, as you know,
Yeah,
and the world knows. Because I'm going through a transition in my life, I felt like it got to a place where it was not sustainable for me to be 100% private. And so I've been a little more public. It is something that I'm desperately not interested in. Even the part we just talked about with my kids, like it's not somewhere I want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to talk about my kids. I don't want to talk about my personal.
We can cut a little bit.
No, I want you to keep this.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. I want to remind people you're in control. It's incredibly important and appropriate, and I appreciate, especially being very cordial for people to ask and things of that nature, but I want to remind people they're in control. I want to provide value and put out things in my professional career. I'm incredibly private and feel that the world is entitled to what you give it. So when I watch people get upset when people get into their business, I'm like, you're giving them your business. By the way, you're leveraging your business. I don't want to leverage nor give my personal life to the world. I don't think that's the right way, by the way. I just think it's my way. So the reason I have a little bit to what you're referring to is it became not sustainable because it's been a long time. And I was in a transit, it was the appropriate time. And I needed to just get some context out there, but it's not where I'm going to go.
And that's what I was more interested by. To me, it's not.
Listen, us being together, my brain goes into maximize the value at the highest levels because we have the opportunity to, for as many people are listening. The takeaway there, from my perspective, is you're in control. You have a learning disability and you want to share it, mazel tov. You don't? Great. It took me, back to something less serious, it took me 15 years of public life to say I'm not candorous. And it's hurt me in my personal life and it's hurt me in my business life. You get to share what you want to share. And I think people should be careful of what they share. You share your abs as like you're a good shaped dude, people are going to talk about your body for the rest of your life. Like you did that. You're going to show your kid all the time. They're going to talk about that relationship. They're going to talk. You're giving the world permission. I prefer not to give the world permission because that's a sacred place for me. You know, even look at my mom. She, like, the greatest gift I could give to the world is my mom to the world. The greatest. She's alpha me. She's more experienced. She's a different perspective. As a mom, she doesn't want it. The end. Right? I thought my dad and mom would be reverse. My dad, I never thought would love the limelight so much. But, you know, so I think if you're listening right now, please, if you're not going on social media because you have a skeleton in your closet, you have a disease, you have a bad, situation, you're like me, and like grew up in a family where like personal life is private. That's, I think, you know, in Russia, that was like, people would go to jail if anybody knew anything about you. So I think it ingrained in my parents, which then ingrained in me and my sister and brother. Like, we're private that way. You know, I think you have to understand you're in control. Facebook and TikTok and podcasts and YouTube don't make you do anything.
Yeah.
They don't make you do anything.
Rule number 6, put things in perspective.
Please take advantage of the fact that we all got lucky. Every one of us could have been born at a different era. This could be a keynote about watch out for the Black Plague. Seriously. You know, it's like a funny thing to say. People got wiped the f out. I mean it. We've lost complete context of time and historics. Most people in this room are gonna live for 50 more years. If you're under 30, it scares me to think about how long you're gonna live. Of course, there's the occasional horrible accident. Of course, there's disease. But please pay attention to what's happening. The advancements of modern medicine, this is why I get so going, right? Like, this is why I always make so much content about 28-year-olds, 25, like 30 scares the shit out of people on a random number, on something that made sense maybe 50, 60 years ago when people lived to 60 and 55. Please, please, just please, figure this out. If you are producing 25 to 50 pieces of content of what you believe, what the value you bring, remember to make content for the audience, not just for yourself. If you make 50 pieces of content, it says buy this, buy that, nothing good's gonna happen. If you figure that out, so much good can happen. We're just caught in judgment and insecurity, trying to oppress people we don't even like. Makes no sense, and it needs to stop. We need to make happiness the North Star of our society. I'm done with people saying shit like, I'd rather cry in my Ferrari. It's the stupidest statement of all time. It's so stupid. People say shit like that when they don't realize what crying is. Depression is horrible. Unhappiness is horrible. Nobody wants to cry in their Ferrari. I'd rather be happy as taking the bus. A funny thing happens when that becomes your system. You start looking for things that make you happy. Funny thing happens when you start doing things that make you happy. You start working more, harder. You become invigorated. You like it. All of a sudden, funny things happen. When you like it and you put in the work, results start happening. You understand? Think about your workout regimen. When you tried to go on the treadmill, that wasn't for you, but you found some, I don't know, some class or some weightlifting or something else. You found the thing that worked for you. You need to find the professional thing that works for you. We need to really have this conversation. Please, if you love college football, if you love cutting hair, if you love fashion, figure out what you love and try to start a side hustle, a podcast, a YouTube show, an Instagram account around that thing that's your hobby, the thing that you want to do laying in your bed from 8 p.m. to 12 at night. And then be grateful that you can lay in your bed from 8 p.m. to 12 at night and actually make something of yourself or make yourself happier or start that thing, because that didn't exist 25 years ago. This is the greatest era of opportunity. Please don't get older and regret not taking advantage of it.
Rule number 7 is be
Happy!
I'm wildly content and at peace. And I don't think that would make sense to most people that consume me, because I'm so frantic as a communicator. I'm such high energy. I think the thing I always enjoy when people get close to me and I'm looking at Dustin and Seth behind is like, there's incredible levels of confusion on the calmness and like the ability to absorb, you know, bad situations. And that has so much to do with personal life, right? Like friends and family, I feel really good about it. I think a lot of it has to do with the lack of expectation I have of others. Doesn't mean I don't require like any human being, but like I'm incredibly compassionate, not just empathetic. And I think when you combine compassion and empathy, you get into a really zen-y, fun place. I find that, you know, I've been really thinking this through. I'm like, oh, those two, because not only can I feel you, but when you come with something that isn't great, I'm going quickly to, are you okay? Mm-hmm. Versus this hurts me. Mm-hmm. And so that gives me a very good personal life.
Yeah.
Again, trials and tribulations like any human on life from different various things, especially candor. I would tell you that everything that I've had challenges with in my life, professionally and personally, has been because I'm non-confrontational, which again, blows people away. Because on stage, I'm incredible at it because I'm talking to the world. When I'm talking to the world, I can't see your name or your face. And so I can just have really good observations to incredibly clean data because very few people on earth read the comments from human beings at the level that I do. It's what I do for a living.
Yeah.
So I have crazy insights. One that really caught me was how many wealthy kids were upset with their parents for paying things, but didn't want to give up on their parents. That one really triggered me in 4 or 5 years because I didn't grow up in that environment. I was like, oh, this is a wild one. This is a very unhappy 25-year-old with a Tesla, a sick apartment in LA, an unlimited Uber, Equinox, but the subconscious is starting to take over and they realize their parents think they're losers. That's why they're paying for everything. And it becomes, breaking those things down.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I think I am very happy because I'm very simple. I'm way simpler in business and content than people realize. I'm very simple in life. I don't really want stuff. I like playing. I like competition. That's something I'm passionate about. I've been thinking a lot about competition. I'm thinking about why is there so much anxiety in the system? Of course, social media pipes. I don't blame social the way people do. I just think that people are being exposed.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
This was happening at dinner tables.
Yes.
And
or
so
in school,
that's
school,
right. So I think people want to blame platforms. This is about a human thing. And I think every country is different. Every religion's different, race, genders, a lot going on. But I really think that there's a lot of fun little pieces put together that got us to certain places. I think eliminating merit and demonizing competition has been a misstep. I think it came from great intent. I think parents didn't want kids crying. They didn't want them to feel bad. But we started training that 18th place is the same as first place. Yeah. Eliminating merit is not a happy place.
Yeah.
It leads to a very unhappy place.
Yeah.
And so, it's funny the things that get me going. Ambition and competition, I'm in. Feels very red. Kindness over anything else, including those two things, and because it's purple.
Yeah.
And that's where my soul is right now for the world, because I think so much of what I am and what I became was my mom and my DNA and my circumstance filled all the gaps along the way. I walked into high school, 4'11", confident. Yeah. Not because I thought I would get the cheerleader or it was going to be the most popular, because I had zero interest in that validation. Yeah. Not that I thought I was better. I didn't think these popular, I just wanted to be nice to everybody. I wanted to do my baseball card shows. I want to get my D's and F's on my way to going to the wine business. I wanted everybody to be happy. And it really hasn't stopped.
Rule number 8, give.
I think reputation is based on truth. And so in today's world where there's nowhere to hide, instead of hiring a PR person in 1994 and getting the right articles, I think it's just delivering. Crush it for your employees, crush it for your clients, and fundamentally give without expectation. Go give a keynote at a college with no expectation. Answer those 10 emails of people reaching out to you that have nothing to offer you, and just give because they actually may have a ton to offer you. What I love is that reputation is becoming a more transparent game. And so the only way to build a reputation is to do the right things. So over-deliver for the ones that have something or the ones that don't have something. Way too many entrepreneurs are way too calculated about what's in it for me. If you can reverse that and think about what's in it for them, you'll find out that a lot of things are in it for you.
Rule number 9, start saving money.
If you're DMing me or emailing me, know that I don't fool around. When you DM me and say, I can't, the first thing I do is go to your account. Don't let me hear that you're broke as and the first story I click on, you're drinking a $7 coffee. If you're broke, you're not allowed to take Uber. Take the bus. We need to start saving money to get it. Are you in a spot? Are you in debt? You don't like it? There's gonna be no fast track to $1 million that's gonna fix that. It's gonna be taking a step back and drinking a whole lot of humility, not a French latte. I don't get it. People are always like, Gary, your story about you building your dad's business, that's not true. Like, that can't be true. You had money to invest in Twitter and all that shit. I know your story. I'm like, okay, right. Because when I made $53,000 a year, I had a $2,000 a month apartment. Then I moved down to a $1,400 one because I wanted to save more money. And I bought nothing for a decade. I went out 0 times. I bought no clothes. I wore liquor t-shirts to work. I spent no money. Not super complicated. How many people here are immigrants or the children of immigrants? Raise your hands. Raise them high. How many people are the children of? Keep your hands up. And how many are the actual immigrants? Awesome. Immigrants have this figured out. Immigrants come here, they work, and they save money. I went on 1.5 vacations my entire childhood. We went to Orlando. We stayed in the Holiday Inn, and my mom ate like 1 sandwich in the week. Immigrant. Everybody cries about immigrants. They don't spend money on dumb shit. Try it. Save money and then do your thing. It's about patience. Where everybody gets caught up, now somebody's sitting here, Sally's sitting here, she's 39. She's like, okay, this makes sense. And then she's like, but and she's like, it's gonna take too long. And I'm like, Sally, you're 39. Do you wanna be miserable as shit for the next 60 years? Or do you wanna have some grinding years for the next 7 and be 46 and young as shit and start the process of actually being happy? People's complete inability to take 1 step backwards, to take 2 steps forward, is destroying people. Do you know how many people here own their home? Do you know how many of those people should sell it? I'm being serious. Do you know how many people have no liquid cash? Their home is their drain, and what they should do is sell the home and either buy a smaller one or rent to give themselves liquid to be able to go on the offense. But their home, which, oh, by the way, has 4 too many rooms. Do you know how few people have a home that actually fits their actual reality? People have homes with 4 extra rooms or live in a town that makes it look better for them. Man, there's so many up moves out here, my friends. I haven't even started. And I'm just like, geez, so many things. And by the way, it all goes back to what I started with. Everything good that happened to me is because of my inability to hear you cheering or to hear you booing. You just don't know me, and I don't know you. And I don't fully know my mom, and she doesn't fully know me. I'm being serious. We all know this. Only you know you. So why are you letting somebody else's judgment dictate your behavior? It's true. All right, I think I've made my point on the clouds. Let's get into the dirt. There's 2 places, and you know where I'm going right now, that have so much free organic reach that if you post on it, good shit will happen. TikTok, LinkedIn, right? I've been saying it. You all were waiting for it. You made the jokes right now. You can name it. You can verbatim say I was going to say it. You just tapped your friend and said, I told you he was going to say it. And you still don't do it. This is some unbelievable shit. You literally know, you're talking to somebody now who for 15 years has been right consistently of where the underpriced attention is. I've told you for a half decade, the reason I'm always right is I never guess, I just wait till it happens, and then I just say it the fastest and the loudest.
And rule number 10, the last one before some very special bonus clips, is stop being scared.
I come here today begging, not pleading, not asking, begging you to look yourself in the mirror tonight and ask yourself if you're happy. And people always say, I don't know what my passion is. I don't know what I would do. Yes, you do. You do. You just don't think it would work. You think it's too small. You think it's too silly. You think people would judge you. You know. You're just scared to say it. You know exactly what you would do if you could do it every minute of your life. You may not right now. As I'm saying this, you're like, no, I don't. Gary, I don't. It's because you haven't even allowed yourself to look. This is the time to build businesses and profiles and content around what you enjoy. This is the time. This is the time. What?
Today's rough.
Babin here is all bent out of shape. He just said today is rough. To be very frank with you, Vayner Nation, I don't give a if Tyler or you think today was rough, because I had 17 meetings that he couldn't be a part of, because I'm actually running a business here. I'm not from some teenage beanie bopper trying to do a vlog, or some influencer doing a blog, or some family that's hoping for some free detergent because of their blog. I'm working here, Tyler. So sorry that your video blog is rough. But let me tell you what's not rough. What's not rough is we're living through the great era of ground shift in marketing and business. Everybody in this amazing town of New York City, which is, let me just tell you, everybody who's not here, vibrant at 10 p.m. right now, because 98% of your cities are sleeping. Everybody here is their collective pants because the ground is shifting. Everything that our grandparents and parents grew up with, everything that we knew, tried and true, the stable pillars of media, commerce, influence, persuasion, the way we make decisions, the things we buy and how, what is cool and what is not, is on call. The world is on call. And you know what that means? Hustlers, the opportunity is obnoxious. So whether you're focusing on vlogs or influencers or how to hack Instagram stories or how to create Alexa voice skills or how to create your own podcast, because you see I'm full, committed till, if you are not following my podcast, pissed. The way I call today, the sum up of all my meetings today, none of which you just watched, is that the earth is moving. There's instability in the foundation of how it was, which makes an innovator like me really happy. And what suffocates all you B players, because you like it nice, slow, and stable. Let me be very clear with this ending rant, that game is over. And the people that are gonna win over the next 5 to 7 years are gonna be very comfortable in controlled chaos. So you better get your speed up, you better work harder, you better work smarter, you better try things, you better keep your subjectiveness and your ego at the door, because that slows you down and it doesn't make you do. You better move.
How do you balance clouds in the dirt, and which do you focus on more and why?
So define to everybody how I define clouds and dirt. Clouds to me is like the why, the strategy, the macro, the big thinking, the big picture, the operating system of like how you do things. And then the dirt is having the humility to go to these meetings, to actually, I post all my Instagram photos, the doing, the humility, ego, humility, strategy, execution, clouds and dirt. The way I balance it is they're both important at all times. I can swing back and forth to them. I can literally go from a meeting where, like the call I had on the way out to our first meeting here today, Puro, was with VaynerMedia's C-suite about a restructuring of how we handle all our business. Super meta. And I literally hung up and I posted something on Instagram and wrote all the copy as we were walking into our last meeting. To me, I balance them by doing whichever one is needed at the time. And so I don't think about it as balancing it. I think about it as time allocation, like what should I be doing with my time? And I think that, you know, you made a joke of like we did a shoot for a client and we debated on the phone for 10 minutes where the should be located for that. I think that's being in the middle, right? I think pandering to the way companies do things. We just had a meeting where they're like, oh, that was provocative. Us as the Gallery Media Group holds and all the other things we do, us doing what every other publishing company does, is not a good idea. That's the middle. That's not gonna get you to the next place. And so for me, I'm just in the mindset of, you know, either doing humble, dirty work, like the reason I am the best strategist in social media out there, I really believe this, is because I do both. I both sit at the top of a media company that really does it at scale for the biggest companies in the world, but at the same token, there's very few humans that put out 140 pieces of content by hand a week and reads I mean, I literally just replied to Kyle in my comments, and I'm gonna show you because I don't think you guys believe me when I do these rants. I literally just replied to Kyle 1 second before Babin's like, let's do this video. Like literally what I was doing 1 second before then was replying to literally hearted Kyle's comment of, I'm digging the recent pics and quotes, man, right? Like many people watching here would argue that my time at this point in my career of reading Kyle's comment and hearting it in that minute was a bad use of my time. I think the dirt is the reason why I come up with such good clouds. Being in the trenches drives my strategy. I live in reality and practicality, not in thesis or ideology or reading headlines or reading about people doing marketing. So I don't balance it. I just do whatever is needed at that second. It's back to macro, micro speed. I'm just always doing something. Right, Bobby? Like, that is the big breakthrough everybody on the team says. Like, there's just every second is, and so the reason I can do something every second is, and I don't watch a YouTube video or stand by the water cooler and talk about the Rockets game for 10 minutes, is because I always value the dirt. And so in that half a second that I had right now in the transition of the call that I just had about a macro VaynerX strategy, right? The second transition I had before I started doing a macro thing like the vlog was hearting Kyle's 2 cents on my last Instagram post, clouds and dirt. My friends, this is a remarkably special time, and I'm completely convinced the far majority, and I mean 99% of this room, is going to regret it. I'm completely convinced about it. It's not fun for me to say that, but it's very obvious to me that humans take for granted and are really bad at perspective and timing. The reason I push patience, how many people here are under 30? Raise your hands. Stand up if you're under 30. Don't be a dick, stand up. Let's first of all clap it up for all the youngsters in the room. Keep standing. You're young, you're not tired yet. If you're standing right now, you really have to, let's get into perspective and actual understanding. If you're standing right now, with the way that modern medicine is actually evolving, there is a very high percentage that you're gonna live 3 more lives that you've already lived, if not 5. Do you understand why I struggle when people give up on a year or 2 in, or are upset that they haven't gotten there yet 3 years in, when you faces are about to live 4 more lives? I'm being serious. You're literally gonna live 4 more lives, 5 more, from the day you were born that you cannot remember to right this second, you're about to do that 3 to 4 more times. You can sit. Literally, your biggest advantage is timing. For all the great things that I have in my life, I would literally give it up, all of it, just to be 25. I would give up for 17 years, I'd give up everything I have, because that's how valuable time is. And the far majority of this room has time as their asset, and every day, the number 1 asset they have, time, they give away by being impatient, mainly on the back of listening to society or their parents that they have to have their figured out at this age. The fact that people actually think at 18, 22, or 30, you have to have your figured out is ridiculous. Let me promise you, all those parents and uncles and grandparents that push down your throat that you have to figure it out by now, they still haven't figured it the out. I mean it. So this nonsense that you have to have it figured out at 18, 22, 30. You know how many people freak the out at 30? How many people are 30 right now? That was crazy, right? People lose their at 30. Meanwhile, they're a kid. And so I'm unbelievably aware lately that one of the, people are always like, why do you win? And I talk about my parents and not coming from anything. But the more that I live, I'm like, the reason I really win is because I understand time. And listen, I know I can get hit by a bus or get terminally ill. I get it. Here's the problem. That's far more unlikely for the majority of us. The math works in your favor, and we are stunningly not patient. Patience has been the foundation of my success. Patience, adversity, these are the foundations of my success. In 1996, my dad had a liquor store in New Jersey. That's as traditional as you get. Yeah. That was 22 years ago. And I put my dad's store online, and I did email marketing, and I did Google, and I did content, and then a couple months after YouTube came out, I started a YouTube show in 2006, which is now 12 years ago. I have no respect, and normally I deploy a lot of empathy. I struggle deploying empathy. I struggle deploying compassion. If you were a business operator in 2018, heading, by the time we're recording this in October, 2019, which is when the majority of people are gonna listen to this, and your excuse is, well, I'm a pub, or I make tomato juice, or I have 3 restaurants. Digital is oxygen. It's the real world feels secondary. To not be a communicator, content producer, part of the conversation, it's gone from cute and naive to grossly negligent. And I just think it's unacceptable to be a business in 2019 in the same way that it would be to pay people not minimum wage. I literally believe it's grossly unacceptable. To me, it's like to quantify digital versus traditional, it's just marketing. Really? You think sending direct mail print is a better thing to do than advertising on Instagram as a restaurant? Really sit down with me. You're telling me right now that it's a better deal to spend all that money making a flyer and sending it direct mail, or running a radio ad, or buying a small little ad in a newspaper. This is what you're telling me. It is 2019. I felt bad in 2002. It was early. The internet was new. I had compassion. It was cute. In 2007, it was it was kind of hey, annoying, kind of but still kind of. In 2012, it was you're not smart. In 2019, you deserve to die. The way I do branding, I sell so infrequently that I think some of you that are watching me the hardest core need to hear this, which is it's okay to sell, especially if you believe in something. If you believe in what you're selling, and that's what I'm spending a lot of time on now, trying to spend more time on really getting to a place where I really believe in stuff. Instead, I was just passive, not creating. So I wasn't selling because I didn't believe, and just letting everything come to me. But as I create these, events, Vayner Experience, a lot of events, very big on events. Events are so valuable. Just watching the 4Ds crew, its value and how it's impacting their business for $10,000 right there. I mean, you see, I know you're getting emails. The wine club, $150 worth of wine for $55. I've just locked in November's. It's gonna make all your Thanksgivings ridiculous. The conference, $500 2-hour session in my stomping grounds. Good deal compared to other conferences that I speak at, but you're getting the wine for free, or you're getting the talk for free and you're getting the wine. So I'm very fascinated because I'm putting more pressure on myself to create things that I really believe in, which then allows me to sell more. And I just think for a lot of you, selling, the ask, the right hook is very difficult. You're passive. You like the idea of feeling good about giving out content, this and that. When you believe in something, you can sell it, and you should put more pressure on yourself to create things that you believe in. Biggest problem is so many of you sell shit you don't believe in. You're just doing it for the money. You're gonna lose. That I don't like. I know that if I can suffocate all of you today to take 25% of your take-home income this year and pour it back into 2 people who do video and written word, and put it into Facebook and Instagram ads, literally all of you will email me 24 months. Actually, it. If you can start right away, literally 25% of you are going to come to me this time next year, right here, and be like, holy shit, I've been listening to your stuff for 7 years. Your keynote was different in Miami last year at this time I listened. I said, F it, I don't need to go to Ibiza 3 times this year. F it, I don't need to buy a better BMW this year to make me feel good with the neighbors. F it, I don't need another pair of Supremes or Yeezys. I took the money and I put it into Karen, the film woman, and Rick, the ad guy, and now my business is 2x. This will 100% work. Even if you suck on camera, have zero charisma, are only 8 days in the industry, this will work because it is such underpriced attention that the ROI will work. That if you're a 2 in skill, the ads are a 20 in the 10-point scale, and it closes the delta of you being average. If you literally, and I've said this for 7 years, if you literally go interview the guy who owns the gym in town, the guy who owns the pizza shop, the woman that owns the insurance brokerage, if you literally just interview your local community, that you become the local newspaper in 3-minute video form on your phone. You don't even need to hire D-Rock or Babin or Iris. Your phone. If you literally take it, selfie it, and interview the principal of the school in your neighborhood, you will become the local celebrity who can then transact on whatever you're trying to sell that group. If you bring value to people, if you interview the best high school basketball player, literally just that, your business will change. Or if you literally just give the advice of how you got here, what you learned, if you shared your thoughts, if you do not understand that you were a media company, then you will not be as successful as you are today in a decade. And that's not interesting when the alternative is you're 4 to 7 times bigger. Guys, you have to understand what happened to Blockbuster and Netflix, what happened with Uber and taxi companies, what happened with hotels versus Airbnb is happening with you as a human in your business. And so when you have the best hand and you know it because you've been paying attention and you know how to play poker, you go all in. Everybody here is playing Facebook, Instagram, social media, YouTube, podcasting like they have the best hand and they're calling. And you're not goading them into getting all the money. You're just folding. And that's this audience. So can you imagine what I feel is going on outside this stadium? So this is a call to action for everybody to do me one favor, and I do think I can get a lot of you to do it, which excites the shit out of me. Please, right now, listen, maybe you've laid out money, maybe you're in the middle of a renovation, maybe you're paying for your kid's college, mazel tov. I know there's nuances on everybody's life. But if you are in a position where literally your take-home income this year is literally the stuff you're gonna go and do things with, please, from 25% to 90% if you can go humble, please take that money and hire 2 people to make a lot more content for you about you and your business. And please give the rest of the money to Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. And I fundamentally promise you, you will walk here to this conference next year and personally thank me emotionally because your business will change. And I know not one of you has gone all in. I was born in Belarus in the former Soviet Union. I came to the US when I was 3. We lived a very humble beginning. As you can imagine, the economy wasn't super great. We didn't speak English. We had $100. I lived with 7 family members in a studio apartment in Queens. So it was super humble and obviously my parents are very much my heroes. 1, because my mom is the greatest parent of all time, and 2, because my dad worked his face off, and even though I slept under the same roof literally every day of my life with my dad in the first 14 years of my life, I literally never saw him because he left at 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. and he came home at 10 p.m. and he worked 7 days a week. How many people here are immigrants or children of immigrants? Raise your hands. Awesome. So this group that just raised their hands, they know that immigrants in America have absolutely figured out one of the core secrets, which is, work your face off and don't buy dumb shit. And so That's kind of what my family did for 7 or 8 years. You know, my dad wasn't making that much money, but a funny thing happens when you buy nothing but food at the lowest possible price. And save. And very quickly, only 6 years after coming to America with $100, my dad was able to buy a small liquor store in New Jersey. We moved to New Jersey. That is where my entrepreneurial career began. When I was 6, I had a 5 lemonade stand franchise. I manipulated my friends into standing behind the lemonade all day. And that is when I became obsessed with attention. And this is really interesting. As you can see up here, I day trade attention, culture, and build businesses. At 6 years old, I would spend my summer days literally walking up and down the streets of New Jersey, sitting down on the curb, watching cars drive by so that I could figure out which tree or post was better for me to put a sign that said lemonade a quarter. That is DNA. That's like somebody singing, that's like somebody throwing a pitch, really, like that is just pure DNA. I didn't read a Seth Godin book or go to Harvard Business School to figure out that attention was the #1 asset. The one thing that combines every person here, from the cameramen back there who are producing, to the industry that is in this room, to me, to Mickey, to anybody else that's sneaked in, the one thing that fundamentally connects all of us is before you tell me how great your product and service is, you need my attention so that I listen. I am obsessed with attention. I am obsessed with this device because it has the attention. I am unemotional if it's ruining the kids and they don't know how to engage, or that you are sad that people go out to dinner and don't talk to each other. Technology does not care about your feelings. And so I, as a human, may have some opinions about parenthood and society and privacy as a human, but as a businessman, I am unemotional and not romantic. All I do is follow where the attention is, and I figure out how to storytell in there to create the action that I desire. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
What's your name?
Alicia.
Alicia, how you doing?
I'm good.
Good.
Okay, so I want to become an author.
Okay.
I want New York Times bestseller just like you.
Amazing.
And I have been writing. It's my passion. And I had applied to this writing YC Teen, and I spilled my heart out. It was just me. Just me
Raw.
words. Yes. They declined me.
Yep.
So it's like they.
Yeah, I get it.
It's like that's me.
Yeah.
So it's like they're not accepting me.
Them.
But it's like, should I?
No, but honestly, guys, first of all, they didn't decline you. One random person that read your declined you. Them.
But it's like, imagine if I changed some stuff up. If I changed me, they would have probably took me.
You're wrong. You're wrong. Listen to my face. I'm telling you right to your face. You're wrong. You're valuing somebody else's opinion too much. You're wrong. I'm just telling you, this is not a debate. You're wrong. Do you understand? You're letting one random person. Listen, do you understand how many people would have hired me? None. Who's got Instagram in here? Cool. Go to it right now. Please do me a huge favor. Go to Instagram. Go to Gary VEE. That's my account. Go 10, 11 posts back. You'll see my report card. I was ranked 243rd out of 254 in my class. 243 out of 254 in my class. You know why? Because I knew it was bullshit. For me, it might not be bullshit for you. This is about self-awareness. You have to know who the f you are. But for me, it was bullshit because I didn't need it. Because I didn't give a f what Saturn, how many rings Saturn had. Listen to me. You can't let something be valuable more than you're pandering to them. Let them come to you. Take that same essay and post that shit on Instagram with a photo and see what happens. See what happens. Let the market decide, not some bullshit middle management person that read your shit. Good. Of course it's true. And when you're young and 13 and 15 and 9, you think you gotta change your shit up because you don't know how it's played. That's why I'm here, to tell you exactly how it's played. One person read your story, my dear, and that person.
Okay.
I'm 26. I want to be I want to say a marriage counselor, but every time I mention that, like, oh, what do you want to do with your life, and I tell people this, their instant response is, how are you going to do that? You're not married. My parents are divorced as of I was 8. Since I was 8, I'm not married.
I can answer your question right away. We're gonna build an amazing. We're gonna build an amazing case study together. I'm gonna give you 3 names, and then you're gonna cruise into the sunset of success, which is, let's figure out the 3 most successful coaches in the history of sport that everybody knows of that didn't play that sport. Bill Belichick, even though I hate him with all my guts, did not play football. He grew up in the football game, right? His dad and was a coach and what have you, but Bill Belichick did not play football, and he will probably unfortunately go down as the greatest, or if not one of the greatest head coaches of all time. You don't have to be, listen, I think people have to be thoughtful. I hate 22-year-old life coaches that haven't lived life, but if they speak about, here's my life experiences and why, you can eliminate, though, very quickly when somebody says to you, but how are you can't do, first of all, a couple other questions. Are your friends and your circle telling you can't do that? Or are customers that you're trying to do that with telling you that they don't want to go with you because you're not married?
No, this is more acquaintances, people, that I run into.
Yeah, so listen, that's a mistake. Like, you can't listen to acquaintances. Their opinions don't matter.
Okay.
You can't listen to.
So how?
You can't listen to.
How do I build that?
How do you?
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm getting excited. You should talk. Go.
So am I. I'm like pumped. Basically, like I wanna, because I follow you and I've been following you for a couple of years now, and I do agree what you have to say about education. I do think people are gonna start moving from, going to school and sending their kids to school to finding ways. I've got your answer.
And a lot of people get up.
You know what I'm going to ask.
Of course I know. I know exactly where you're going. So if you're not going to get the PhD, there's only a few ways to justify and gives confidence to the end market why they would jump with you. It's crazy to me that so many people, I was watching 60 Minutes last night in the background as I was working, and the way that Oprah was justifying the person was, he has a PhD in this and a master's in that. Even 60 Minutes used those pieces of paper to create authority. In our society, pieces of paper from businesses, and that's what colleges are, has been the authority. The only other people that get authority are the people that have gone out and done it and have people co-signing them, right? Makes sense. So the way and this is why I love working for free. When you don't have a piece of paper, right? One of the reasons I love working for free is working for free for somebody who is that person in society, whether they got a piece of paper or they're Puff Daddy and they just did it, becomes the equity that you trade under once you become great at something, right? Andy, who's sitting here right now, every single famous person I see gives him a lot of street cred right away, not because he got a degree for personal branding and marketing for Virginia Tech. What degree did you get?
Political science.
Not because of his bullshit political science degree from Virginia Tech, but because he went and worked underneath me and I went out and did it, and I always give him love and good vibes. The end. It's not Babin's degree from the USC School of Film or NYU.
I dropped out.
So what you need to do is one of 2 moves if you're not going to go get a PhD and have everybody comfortable with it. You either need to go work for somebody that is the authority and ask all thousands of people that are authorities and work for them, or you need to give your services for free to 5 couples, crush it for them, and use their word of mouth and endorsements and as your leverage point. The end. One of the things I saw a lot in my comments, because I read them all, was, well, I have no money. I'm like, I lived my whole life with no money, but I figured it out. I would just buy shit. I would buy garage sales shit. And it just got me going. I love it. It's like a hobby of mine to go garage selling.
I started doing that with clothes. I used to do that with clothes.
Dude, the amount, guys, especially like a stylish kid like you, like if you have flavor, if you're listening right now and you don't have money, but you're cool or you got flavor, you got swag, you got style, if you just spend your life in Goodwill and in thrift stores and buy shit that you think is fresh and then wear it and take a selfie and put it on eBay for 3 times the price, or like I see every day, the amount of people that buy $3 t-shirts and sell them for $35 on eBay and Etsy and Facebook Marketplace is enormous. There's no excuse in America to say you have no money, even if you're in the deepest, poorest places, because if you can literally get $1, you can buy your first t-shirt at Goodwill and get it up for $15 on Facebook. Because you know what's funny? What's funny is everybody's got a smartphone. Like you go into the poorest places in America and everybody's got a smartphone, which means you have the internet. I mean, listen, the homeless, you've got people all over on homeless smartphones. I get emails every day. I'm homeless. I watch you on YouTube.
Today I lost 50% of all the money that I have. People are ditching me because they don't want to go to a conference anymore. So I've been just full on pissed.
Right, getting shit on today.
Yeah,
that sounds awesome.
All today. It just
I like it.
It hit me. You know?
I like it.
And so
I like it. I'll tell you why. Because I can tell by your demeanor that you're going to be okay. The fact that you realize that negative moment has positive impact. The question is, why did it happen? And that's why you have to be honest with yourself. I don't know, but that's, I'm pumped that you can have you're more positive than half the people here, and it sounds like you're having a terrible day.
And today I'm feeling like, super rage. That's why I wanted to ask you, how do you keep the positivity, the calmness, when everything is hitting the fan?
Because basically when things happen, I go the other way. So tonight, I just was reminding myself every time you came and the next person came, I was just reminding myself, literally in my own head, saying, you don't mean shit. I said it to one of you. They said, how do you stay humble when you're so successful? I'm like, because I know if I die tomorrow, I'll have a good day on social media. Like most comments ever on my latest post on Instagram, and everybody's gonna be like, oh, that was the last one, weird. And I know that all of you will be on with your life a week later. You have to balance your ego with humility. In the same way, when I'm having my worst day, I realize I'm the best. I'm gonna be the best that ever does this. And so the way I handle things is when something's going one way, I use all my emotional strength to push the other way. What, are you gonna cry for the rest of your life because the conference got f***ed up? To me, it's just like, look what the f***'s going on. Guys, if you're in this room right now, let me just remind you that there are 7.7 billion people. Literally right now, as we stand here, there are women being shipped to be strippers in parts of our world. Right now, as we stand here, there are women who are basically caged, mentally usually, and are being shipped to dance on a pole in Manhattan and in London. Like, do you understand there's genocide going on right now. Like, what do you think's going on? Like, we lack perspective. Your conference got f***ed up? Boo-hoo. I lost a client? Boo-hoo. There's people dying out there. So when Americans or Europeans talk to me about race or gender, I'm sad. It's their real life. But I remind them, because it's a positive thing, cool, but let me tell you about the person that's ranked 7 billion in the world. They have it bad. And so I struggle. Listen, I'm weird. I think about things like animals. Like, I don't know. Like, if you're the best elephant, we are still better than you. We got listen, I got hot on this about a year ago, the 400 trillion to 1. It's impossible to be a human being. You won. I don't know how to get upset after that. I keep shit in perspective, right? Like, you're gonna learn from this. You f***ed up. I promise you it's failing because of you. And when you start owning your shit and not blaming other people, and I think this is the kick I've been on lately on Instagram, right? Like, blame yourself. You know why I'm always happy? I blame myself. When you blame yourself for real, you're gonna always be happy because you don't feel like somebody else controls you. I was a super entrepreneurial kid. It's very rare for somebody growing up in the 80s who's an immigrant to not be blindly bought into education as the way out. Miraculously, I have such a great mother who saw a 4, 5, 6, young, 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old kid basically spend all his time on business. Lemonade. I was a 4-season executive. In the fall, I'm raking leaves. In the winter, I'm shoveling snow and singing Christmas carols at your door. I mean, I don't talk about that a lot. I literally rang people's doors and be like, will you pay us $1 to sing Jingle Bells, me and my crew? I mean, it was ludicrous.
And you're Jewish, right?
And I'm Jewish. I mean, it was like, talk about, I'm entrepreneur first. You know, in the spring, it was like I remember we did a miniature golf course. We did mini flea markets. It was a garage sale. In the summer, it was hardcore washing cars and lemonade. I was so passionate. And then very quickly, for a lot of people watching, they'll probably remember this, in the late 80s, early 90s, the baseball card phenomenon in America happened. And I was at the forefront. Not only was I collecting, but as a 12-year-old, I'm in hotels, in malls, in convention centers, set up as a dealer with other 30, 40, 50-year-old men, and really cut my teeth there. And then my 14th birthday came, and for whatever reason, I guess that's grown up in Russia land. My dad, at this point, in parallel, was also an entrepreneur, a more significant one, saved up all his money as a stock boy and then manager of a liquor store, which is the job he got in America, and bought a liquor store and dragged me into that liquor store in Springfield, New Jersey when I was 14. And so from 8th grade on, I worked. Evan, thank you so much for having a couple seconds and being able to tell the Believe Nation a little bit about Empathy Wines. It means a lot to me that you would take this valuable real estate and time on your channel to give me some love. It means a lot. It's just good karma points, and so you're awesome. Thank you. Believe Nation, if you're into wine at all, go to empathywines.com. My whole career's work was poured into producing a wine that rivaled $40 to $60 wine for $20 a bottle. I'm just super excited about this subscription-based wine business. You can order 3, 6, or 12 bottles in subscription form, rosé, white, red. If you search on Instagram or Twitter, you will be blown away. People are literally like, I don't even like Gary Vee, but the wine's good. Super proud of the effort. Thanks, Evan, for the time. Wishing you guys all happy and healthy.
Because you made it this far in a video, I want to celebrate you. Most people start and don't finish. Most people never actually follow through. Most people say they want something, but they don't ever do the work to actually get it. But you are different. You are special. Believe Nation, you made it here all the way to the end, and I love you. So as a special celebration, if you put a hashtag Believe down in the comments below on this video, I will showcase you and celebrate you somewhere on the screen in a future video because you are awesome.
For 10 more amazing rules from me, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and we'll see you there.
I used to struggle a lot with manifesting, just the idea of it. I would watch videos on it and I didn't understand what they were saying. I just didn't understand it. Where there's manifesting a lot of attractions, like what are they saying? I don't understand the words that are coming out of your mouth.